Kike is at bat.
Okay, stream is up. Audio is recording.
Erin, can I do this mic? Because like when you go like this, it goes around the corner.
Yeah.
Is that all right? I think I might have a breakdown if I keep using it.
I'd say switch seats with me, but that would be so weird to be on the other side of you.
No, it's fine.
We'd be OCD.
Okay, I am streaming, so let's do this. Go for it.
Oh, we're about to be streaming.
We're streaming, and we're going.
We're going.
A man used 80 helium party balloons to fly 15 miles over South Africa. Is that a sport? Ohio State beats Penn State by 1 point, and the USC football team is staying in our hotel in an undisclosed location in Phoenix, Arizona. This is Sports Without Balls. Oh, wow. We are recording live from the ATC Pop-Up Podcast Studio in downtown Phoenix at the All Things Comedy Festival, presented by Bud Light, Cityscape, and Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's, what could go wrong? You guys, we are in a sold-out Old Bank / Men's Warehouse. Killing it already. Carpeting, clean. How are you, Trish, sir?
Hi, Erin Foley. Are you just tickled that we're sitting in this Men's Warehouse? First of all, thank you to All Things Comedy for having this.
All Things Comedy!
It's like we're in comedy camp in Phoenix. We are just having a grand old time here, so tickled to death. We are also doing this podcast live. It is streaming on the All Things Comedy YouTube channel, so you can also subscribe to that and see our faces right now. I actually curled my hair for y'all and put an earring in.
You got to lower that screen because I can't watch myself delayed, then watch myself.
And we're
also
also
be a terrible podcast if that happens.
We're also
and
live.
We've got so many people here. I don't want to disappoint. Erin in the booth.
Erin.
Go Cards.
Go Cards.
Next year.
Go Cards. Not the Arizona Cardinals.
Nate.
Nay. But the St. Louis Obispo Cardinals. This is exciting. This is episode 182. 82 more than 100, and we are energized. Arizona, it's been so much fun.
We have had a ball, and as you all know, I have been in full.
She's a mess, people.
I'm stroking out. Let's be real. It's
the Dodgers. It is right now. All right, so we're recording Saturday night. We'll put this up Monday. And the Houston Astros are up 2-1. It is currently mid-8th. We're going into the bottom 8th. Are we multitasking right now? Or are we providing the greatest podcast ever and also watching the World Series?
Fucking A, we are. We don't mess around, honey.
So Trish is usually completely in control, except for right now. And
I'm a buttery mess. I don't know what's been crazier. You seeing the USC football team arrive in our hotel lobby while we were eating last night, and I thought you were having a seizure. I was facing out the window, and Erin was facing the elevators, and she literally was doing this weird winky, like a moment. I thought she was genuinely stroking. And I'm like, babe, are you? And I turn around, I was like, it's got to be the hottest woman of all time. Like, I seriously believe
it was a tie.
And I look around, and it's 30, 22-year-old giant football boys.
All of a sudden, the bus pulls up. The entire football team lets out. And, oh, my God, I couldn't function. I was like, what?
And then I stroked out. And they're beautiful. And they're just eating bags of chips and Subway sandwiches in our lobby.
I just couldn't believe. All right, so the best thing, and then we'll just kind of go back and forth. We don't want to disappoint our fans. But I can't believe how big they are.
They are man walls, honey.
I've been now going up and down in the elevators for no reason, just to talk to USC football players. And this morning, I was with 4 large gentlemen, and I said, good luck, go get them, beat Arizona. Sorry, Arizona. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're joking around. And then this one guy said to this other guy, he's like, how was the phone call with Belichick this morning? Which I assume was just for me. And I turn around, I go, fuck the Patriots. And when a smaller white lady screams that out in an elevator with 4 USC dudes, they were surprised. They were surprised. And then we started a conversation. I was convincing all of them to play for the New York Giants.
She comes into my room because we were prepping for the show, and she goes, honey, gotta follow Rasheem Green. Gotta follow Rasheem Green. And I'm looking him up right now on Instagram, which we now follow you, Rasheem Green. You're
I
getting
follow him on Twitter. He only has like 4,500 followers on Twitter, so I feel like if I keep tweeting at him, like I was the one that said you need. And then he was like, I'm not playing for the Giants. And then I cornered him because he's only 7'10", 350. And I was like, if you got drafted by the New York Giants, you'd go to the Giants. And he was like, yeah. I go, besides the fact that we have no players. Like, literally, the entire team is in the injured reserve. So someone has to play for them. And then he was like, I'm not playing for the Browns. I was like, you'll play for any of these.
Yeah, you'll pay for whoever cuts you a check, honey.
He's like, yeah.
Smile and keep it pushing.
So then I kept, I just saw, I don't know who the other dude was, but I saw him in the lobby, not once but twice, the one I said, F the Patriots. And I just kept saying Giants. I wasn't stalking. We're all in the same hotel.
I've needed Erin so much today. Every time I talk to her, she goes, I'm in the lobby. I just jumped out of the elevator. I'm like, what are you doing?
I literally keep saying, Trish, what we need to also discuss is the fact that I get really like shy. Like I won't go up to someone and be like, can I take a picture? Or like everyone's like, did you tell him about your podcast? Did you tell him? I passed Sam Darnold not once but twice. He's gonna be up for a Heisman if he stays next year. He's the quarterback for USC. I just read like a 10-page article on him in the ESPN magazine. I passed him twice, and I was like, I needed you to be there to
my Southern ways. I'm more like somebody's fun mama, so they all are very sweet to me. A, accent, but B, that like I look like the fun mom that brings orange slices. So they're always like, yeah, I'll take a picture. You seem fun. So that I could have just been like, you doll, this is my fun sister who needs a photo with you. I just thrown you in there. So we'll go. I'll stalk them when they get back in the morning. We've got early flights.
I could just scream out like, it's a Make-A-Wish. Because it was my Make-A-Wish.
It is your Make-A-Wish.
This isn't a good path to go down. Here's the thing. I would never just go up to. I guess I can scream about the Patriots in an elevator, but I can't go up to Sam Darnold and be like, "Hi, I'm a fan."
You can.
I know I can, but I needed your Southern your charm.
Well, it's just more they think I'm off is what it is. I don't know if it's charm. They're just like, she's
off.
sweet and wandering the halls, and she just learned how to use her iPhone. I like to play dumb when I can, you know.
It is pretty crazy, though, with you guys. How about we give a round of applause to social media?
Woo!
It's pretty crazy that I could look up in 2 seconds Rasheem Green's, he's a defensive end, all his stats, where he's going, and now follow him, and potentially... Again, I'm not going to use the word stalk.
That seems abrasive.
Befriend.
Yeah.
Real close.
Just be
a
supporter.
Yeah.
It's like a booster, but with less money.
Yeah. I have $1. And that's why we're
in the men's warehouse on a magical Saturday night when I'm trying to watch Game 4 on my laptop, but it's buffering.
Okay, bottom of the 8th, 1-1, 2 out. Trish, let's talk about the World Series.
Okay.
Didn't see this one coming. Not going to lie.
Yeah, went to Game 1, as y'all know. Got my LA Moscow Mule Cups. We won that. That was fun. Game 2, my dream sequence happened. Vin came out and said it's time for Dodger baseball, and then the world imploded and we lost the game.
Well, let's back up because the last podcast we did was 2 days before you went to Dodger Stadium. So tell us what that felt like.
It was a bucket list moment. It was Africa hot. It was the surface of the sun. It was, my hand to God, it was 103 degrees at game time.
It was the warmest game one of all time.
Yes, it was hateful hail.
It's weird because climate change doesn't exist, so it's weird.
It's just fake news. It was an amazing environment. Everyone was so lovely. The Astros fans were lovely, and I know I've been saying this all along. Clearly, I want my Dodgers to win. I love my Dodgers, but the Astros is such a feel-good story. The fans were awesome and sweet and lovely and so excited to be there, which made it like a really great vibe, which I loved. It was all the celebrities were out. You know how they like to show. They did show Seinfeld, and the whole stadium booed. He's a
stadium
Yankee
booed.
fan. He's a Yankee fan. They were
Let's
like,
go Yankees.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Anyway, well, they did
Derek
the.
Jeter just walked into the men's warehouse.
No, they didn't do an audible like, they gave the, it was a grunt.
He's a Mets fan.
Oh.
He's not a Yankees fan.
Well,
He's
either
a
way, we
he's
didn't like him.
That's why they doubly booed him, because Mets national.
It was an audible groan.
Yeah.
So, and they kept the camera on him, and he just was like.
And Peyton Manning.
Peyton was there with Lady Gaga. This was what was sweet.
Lady Gaga was there?
Lady Gaga was there, and they put the Jumbotron on her, and she's in a box, and she was like, okay. And then they put it on Vin Scully. And Vin, you know how humble he is, honey. He was like, no, like, it's about the boys. Take the camera off me. And then they put the Jumbotron back on Lady Gaga, and she was like, Vin. And then they kept putting it. It was really cute. And they put it back on Vin, and Vin was like, I'm sure, like, who is that sweet woman that's trying to dress like Marilyn Monroe?
Was she like inside an eggshell?
No, she
in the
actually
booth,
had
or-
like Marilyn Monroe, very short white blonde hair, platinum blonde, and a little white tank top and black booty shorts with her butt cheeks hanging out. She looked precious.
Wow.
And
I wonder
and
if she knew there was a baseball game going on.
I don't think so. I think she really looked. She liked that cup. She was enjoying that.
The Moscow Mule?
the LA Moscow Mule cup. I think it was really just an Instagram post she was there for. But
I love me
hey,
some Lady Gaga.
I
Just
love her too, honey.
Points for going. She could have said no.
She could have.
You know, she could have been like, let's give the tickets to Erin.
It would have been
Erin Foley,
amazing.
who's never gone to a
All our
playoff game.
diehard LA celebrities were there. So Ken Jeong, yay.
Yep.
We had Rob Lowe, Jason Bateman, who these are all diehard ticket holders that are there as much as I
Surprisingly,
am.
men who also have the same faces as
Very
20
similar.
years ago.
Very similar. George Lopez, a lot of comics, which we love. A lot of comedians support the Doyers.
What's the woman again? Mary
Hart.
Mary Hart.
She
And
was told not to move, right?
Yeah.
'Cause she was in her seat both games one
Mary
and two.
Hart owns 4 seats. So what happens a lot is she and her husband, I don't know if they have restless leg syndrome or what the situation is.
I think it's restless leg.
Or maybe it's, light bladders. Who's to say? I'm not their physician.
I
but
think
they
it's
are
light
up and down quite a bit. And Mary usually sits right. If you're watching, she's just to the right of the batter's box at home plate. And Mary and her husband slide down, if I'm assuming it's their kids or whoever, but they always kind of slide. So they do this 4-person shift. And then at the end of their 4 seats is Larry King's seats. And he literally looks like he's turning into that eagle from the Muppets. He's just
Sam.
Sam, thank you, Erin. He's turned into.
How did you know that?
Aaron, I know the old
I'm
men's
a-
names,
I'm a-
Waldorf and Statler, but I don't
Yeah.
know the eagle. Thank you.
I'm a big Muppet head.
I am
Saw
too.
them at the bowl.
Wonder 10 powers activate. So that's what he looks like sitting there. Larry can barely make it through a whole game, so I was tickled to death. He's younger than Vin Scully and looks like he's waiting for
He's
the crypt
younger
keeper.
than
Yes,
Vin Scully?
by 2 years.
Suspenders and blue jeans.
He's heaven. And then his Dodger hat looks a little Make-A-Wishy in a nice way.
Yeah. But great atmosphere.
It was amazing. Everybody was so lovely. It was just good
Yeah.
juju. It really was.
And then game 2, I watched, I don't want to brag, but I had to leave game 2 in the 8th inning to close out a show at Flappers in Burbank. And let me tell you this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Flappers. When when you're a diehard baseball fan and you have to leave the 8th and then you come back with 2 outs in the bottom of the 11th, that's what happened. That's what happened. I missed everything, Graham Elwood. I missed all the action. There's so many people streaming in. Graham Elwood
It's bananas.
just streamed in. There was a bus of children. We just sent them away.
I was in the air, and Delta, everyone at Delta conspired to get me to Chattanooga because I did 4 shows in 48 hours. Yeah. Got me to Chattanooga before, first pitch. And I'm so glad they did, or I wouldn't have seen Vin say it's time for Dodger baseball and Seager and Valenzuela.
Yeah.
I mean, I was bawling, crying my eyes out watching the beginning of that. And I was like, this is amazing. The flyover again. I was just like, hearts and joy and God bless America. And then it imploded.
Yeah. Listen, the Houston Bats woke up. George Springer, who is I love.
They
I'm not
pulled
gonna lie.
Rich Hill
I mean,
too early.
He's got a lisp. His dad's got a lisp. He's from. I just love George Springer.
He's not paid to talk.
I just. Wow. Trish is apparently anti-lisp. You guys.
No, I just he knows his strengths.
He's precious. But the Houston Bats came around. That I was like, first of all. I like this is what I like doing: sitting in my lazy boy, drinking a beer, questioning the coach's calls, and oh God, what a national pastime! I wouldn't have pulled Rich Hill.
Why pull Rich Hill? He was having a great game. Then Can goes in. Can Jam goes in. My Kenley Jansen.
But
I
they
tend to call
pulled
him
Rich
Can Jam.
Hill in like going into the fifth for Maeda. They only used Maeda for a couple batters. It's not like Rich Hill was lights out. It was but it was only a 1-run ball game.
Yeah.
And I think you have to be prepared for what could possibly have happened, and that's the bottom of the 11th putting in Brandon McCarthy. Ugh.
It was my nightmare.
Which is not fair for him.
No. I don't even, if I have to relive it again, I'll have a stroke.
Okay, we won't relive it. Well, what happened was Houston won. And then yesterday before our show, we met up. We watched we got most of the game in. And just, Houston, Houston right now is basically out-pitching the Dodgers.
I know.
Which I didn't. It's 1-1, top of the ninth, 3-1. I think it's time for a guest. What do you think?
I think it'd be great.
We have this a great source of comics at this festival, and we're going to bring up one of my all-time favorite humans as well as comics. He is a tour de force. He is a New Yorker. I've known him since the 60s. Please welcome Sean Conroy. Yeah.
Thank you. The 60s were such a good time, especially as a tour de force.
Yes. Just touring, de-forcing all around New York City. And
Sean brought a wardrobe too. Did you?
Yeah, I have a change mid-show.
I love that, honey. I love a good
fantastic.
costume change. Yes.
I can't wait to put on my dress in minute 44. So as a New Yorker, let's talk about this because this is one thing we wanted to talk about, and then we'll talk about the Darvish Gurriel scandal.
God.
Which I thought, wow, are we watching
We've got
a
two on.
third grader in
Crazy.
Let's just talk about that right now.
Yeah. Did you see because Dave Roberts' mom is Japanese. So did you hear
He
about?
speaks Japanese, right?
So Dave, forgive me for I just stroked out the manager's name of the
Hinch?
of the
Hinch?
Astros.
Hinch, right?
Hinch.
AJ Hinch.
When he called Dave Roberts last night and said, "We don't back this behavior. You can retaliate in any way you feel free." Like called and said, "We are
The
mortified."
old brushback.
Well, it was
shinny music.
he was just like, and Dave goes, that's not who we are. He goes, I would never disrespect you. It was just a class act on his part because he called Dave himself and just said, look,
But good for him. That's great.
we would never, this isn't who we are. It's not who any of us are. And then Erin tells me what Darvish says. And I was like,
Let's bring it up.
Good
Let's
home
bring it
training.
up.
Just good home training.
I didn't see it.
I've
I
got
didn't see it during the game.
It's right here.
Darvish says, so Gurriel does, if you didn't see it, he made like terrible, like slanty eyes. Something you would do in third grade.
You wouldn't do it in third grade anymore.
Not now.
Not
You would
anymore,
you would have done it in
growing
third
up.
grade 40 years
In
ago.
the 60s.
Yes, yeah.
Back when Erin and I were,
When
before we
Sean
went
and I
to
were on
Woodstock.
tour. Before we were just slaying it. Just in the backwoods of comedy. But yeah, it's just terrible. And I was surprised because Gurriel's got a good story. This is like technically his rookie year, and he's 30. Like he's been around, and it's kind of a feel-good story. And he, was just
He crapped on his own
in
situation.
play runs, Trish, sir. It's 2-1. Sorry,
Oh,
we're
I
gonna
didn't
have
mean
we're
to
gonna
scream
do,
into
we're
the
gonna
mic.
do this.
Oh, my God.
Bellinger doubles on a sharp line drive to Gonzalez. Corey Seager scores. Justin Turner to third. It is currently the top of the ninth. 1-0. I am Mrs. Erin.
Tiny baby Jesus, Kenley Jansen. I'm gonna just channel you right now. Just a quick side note.
And if you're watching this to find out what's going on in the game, there's other ways to get that information.
Yeah, this will air on Monday, so it'll be riveting. I should go live on my Insta story. I'm sure people are riveted.
If you are streaming this podcast to get the World Series information,
You are in luck.
Some kind
You've
of
got
media.
dial-up.
Yeah.
We've got time.
All right, Darvish, this is Darvish's response, right? So Gurriel apologizes. He goes, I didn't do it to offend anyone. Okay, whatever. So Darvish goes out and, obviously was like, that was completely disrespectful. Then he says, he posts this, no one is perfect. That includes both you and I. What he had done today, it's a little choppy. What he had done today isn't right, but I believe we should put our effort into learning rather than to accuse him. If we can take something from this is a giant step for mankind. Since we're living in such a wonderful world, let's stay positive and move forward instead of focusing on anger. I'm counting on everyone's big love.
Okay, so he's quoting an HBO show and a moon speech.
Well,
Like, come up with your own stuff, Darvish. Come on.
He's so awesome. He's like so classy.
I'm sorry
and
that I
sweet.
threw the ball and it hit dead wood, but next thing you know, he'll be singing Sopranos.
He will be and then he's going to have like the natural, the lightning bolt right on his, it's going to be a Harry Potter / lightning bolt.
That game really came down to the wire.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you,
I was trying to think
Aaron.
of one.
You're welcome.
I just went live on Insta Story in case people want to tune
Get the
in.
score of the game.
But, you know, we're doing the All Things Comedy podcast.
Quick. Honey, turn on Trish's Insta stream. The game is on.
The game
Quick,
is on. We got to
who
get an
needs
update.
Joe Buck? We've got Trish and Aaron.
Do you realize there's no out? You guys, it's the top of the ninth.
It's the top of the night. And we're stuck in a podcast studio getting this on dial-up. You're welcome.
God, I hope they have some women's suits for sale after this podcast.
I really
Welcome to Phoenix.
thought we were beyond this kind of racism, but I guess I just have to dream a little dream. What was that show? Was it called Dream a Little Dream?
Dream On.
Dream
Dream
on.
on.
Yeah.
Woo! Riveting.
We're just doing HBO.
If you're just
doing
tuning,
HBO's.
and if people are tuning in, we're doing our All Things Comedy podcast. Hi, sports
Oh God,
novels.
you kind of feel like sometimes you're just eastbound and down, and you're just trying to get back up. And
You know,
we are.
I
Pull
don't know.
yourself
I don't know
together.
what he was thinking. Maybe I can never get inside the mind of a married man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mike
he might have
Bender.
been. He might have been
kidding.
thinking that, Aaron. He
Hey,
might have
whoa, Aaron, curb your enthusiasm.
We're going to do puns for the next 20
We're
minutes.
gonna kill
you
it,
guys.
honey.
I blame myself. I'm so
If
sorry.
anybody
Mike-
wants an update, we're live.
We've got
from,
no outs and the runners
Joseph
at second
A.
and
Bank.
third. Oh my gosh, we're like Joseph A. Bank.
We're live stalking the USC football team.
That
okay,
was
so
fun.
Darvish's response was obviously completely amazing. And so
He was forgiving, basically.
forgiving.
And saying, let's rise above this,
Yes.
which is...
Is there a show called Rise Above This on
No,
HBO?
I'm done with that.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if we had to keep going.
I'm all done with that.
Do you think he would have even seen it? Because it was a dugout. Someone shooting into the dugout after the home run.
But he was doing it on purpose to
Well, he was doing
taunt
it-
the guy.
He was,
Yeah,
it
he
looked like
just
he was
hit a
doing
home
it
run.
to another player, like his.
It doesn't
teammate.
matter. At the end of the
No,
day,
it's not good. Obviously,
You're at
but-
the World Series. There's 6,463 cameras. There's like one for a cleat. There is a cleat camera. You're going to be on camera.
Oh no, yeah.
So you know
it's not a
at
good
any
thing.
moment, it's like it's like assuming that you're not going to be seen. It now makes it not, don't get me, honey. I will pop on a soapbox about this hateful mess.
But I don't disagree with that. But it's also not about whether or not it's going to be on camera. It's like, why is somebody still
Instinctually.
doing
That's
this?
what I'm saying. Like,
Instinctually,
no
that's
matter
your
what,
first reaction.
this was
Yeah.
you were okay to do this.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Doesn't matter the world's biggest stage in the sports that you play. You just decided being an asshole
Right.
was a good thing to do at the World Series.
racist asshole.
A racist asshole. Just an asshole in general.
And so he gets 5 games next year. He's a 5-game suspension in 2018, which is going to sting. And
Yeah, because every game matters
Yes.
in baseball.
Yes.
And can we
180.
say, did you hear the reasoning behind that? Because I understand Dave Roberts didn't want to make bad a bee's nest, and it really wasn't up to them. But they asked the Dodgers, their thoughts on the matter, and Darvish's response was what caused them to do it next year. And I thought, really? That's what caused you to do it next year?
although I have to say,
They said they weren't going to
I
punish
don't-
the whole team.
I don't think you suspend someone a Series game for that.
It's not a game
That-
issue. It's a moral
It's a moral
issue.
issue.
I
Exactly
think
right.
you bring it up like this is all. It's been out there. I'm glad it's out there. I'm glad. You know what I mean? But I do think also people are idiots. People are gross. They make mistakes. I don't think suspending him for a World Series game would have been the right decision.
I just hope he doesn't
also.
get to do a commercial where he says, "I'm not a role model."
Yes,
You know, like he doesn't
true.
win out of this.
Yes.
whole thing.
No, he won't, because he's now completely in a terrible light, and I will never. Like,
Also, get a haircut.
get
Yes.
a haircut.
Yeah.
That,
That is
hair.
suspension worthy for
That,
sure.
that
That is-
hair is just terrible, Muriel. Let's talk about this. Girardi. Fired.
What are your thoughts about that?
I'll tell you my. Now we had
I'll pull it
you
up.
pull it up.
Sarah,
okay.
yeah.
We had a fun
We have so many
fan
Yes.
chime in about that, or just wanting to get my response.
A fun fan?
A fun.
Well, we
fan.
have so many fun fans, but this was from Sarah Kay, who reached out to us on our Facebook page, and she said, hey, please tell me the next episode will have a classic Erin Foley monologue detailing her love and history of the New York Yankees, her feelings about Girardi both as a player and manager, her reaction to his exit, and her thoughts on the future of the Baby Bombers, which, of course, will be followed by a classic Trish Sir monologue, re the Yankees branding strategy for the next 3 to 5 years.
Sarah Kay putting a lot of
Sarah
pressure on
Kay
you guys.
really-
Classic monologues
Classic.
forthcoming.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff going on, so I don't think it's going to be maybe a longer classic monologue. But here, I'll give you my reaction. And first of all, thank you so much for emailing us. I gasped. It was so unexpected and so out of left field, if you will, that I literally go. That was my.
That's the right analogy for this
Initial-
sport, by the way.
It was so out of the
It
lane.
was so
missing
wide right.
pins
Yeah.
that I just. I don't any logical explanation that I read an article like that day, and it was like it was 10 years and it was just simply time for him to go. No, it's not time for you to go. You come within innings away
Of
from
getting
going to the World
Series.
And really turned the culture around at the Yankees, wouldn't you say? Like really kind of brought them.
Well, they have a very young team, so.
But
Yeah, I wouldn't say. I don't. What do you mean by culture?
Well, I think it got like it became it. I would like to say fresh. It was like a refresh. I think he took a young team and made
He did
them
a great job with
a
them.
fresher
Yeah.
team. Where Yankees, because they are so steeped in so much history, and it was a lot of the Steinbrenner ways and that kind of vibe. So after
well, he's been there. I see what you're saying.
since
but
2009, right? 8, 9.
It's 10 years, but I do think that he was being spoken of in the possible manager of the year for
Yeah.
taking, and then we've got, you also have to handle Frazier, Robertson, Canley coming in mid-season. Bird is supposed to be your first baseman. We don't get him back till like late September. All these moving parts. Then you bring in who's the dude? Not Holiday, but the other dude that didn't work out in first base. Not Alonso. He was in the beginning of the
Chris
season.
Carter?
Chris Carter, nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
And so there was
Showrunner of the X-Files.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
That
what he
makes
did.
sense
That's
now why he
that's
didn't
was
work like we
distracted.
thought.
Yeah. It's bases loaded, Trish. By the way, it's 2-1 bases loaded.
My phone is buffering. Wi-Fi.
I just
Fucking
don't
Boost
get
Mobile.
it. Here's the thing.
Track phone.
If Girardi gets fired because they have this like heir apparent or second coming
Right.
of Jesus or someone that they put in right away and they go, we've been grooming him. We feel like, it was a shitty seat. Like there's now everyone, it's a guessing game on the internet, a guessing game of who will now take over. So if they're not grooming someone.
Is Mattingly available?
Oh God,
Or will he be?
we're not getting Mattingly. Jeter will fire him though. Well, he'll have someone else
Deserves to be.
fire him. But I just your
And he'll give him a
thoughts.
gift basket.
And he will give him a gift
my
basket.
thoughts, just as a counterpoint, when I was growing up with the Yankees, every other day Billy Martin was
Yeah.
being fired and Bob Lemon was being hired.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of a nice throwback to the
Yeah.
days when you didn't know who the next manager was going to
Yeah,
be.
yeah. That was mentioned. It was just like, there's obviously 10 years is a lot for Yankees.
Oh,
There's
so
all
long.
chaos. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
just,
no,
if you don't- if
like
it's
you
not
said,
broke,
he came within outs of going to the World Series.
Yeah, like what do you want him to do?
There's no way
You fire him.
to fire somebody like that. Like, what grounds do you have?
Did they have to pay him a bonus if he
His
stayed
contr-
longer?
I don't know.
He was up for his contract had
renewal?
expired like Tuesday. So I can't. I hate.
Erin
watching
doesn't like
myself.
seeing
I
herself.
hate.
I, on the other hand, stare at myself like I'm a small child in a mirror.
Okay. All right.
Also,
well,
think about it
listen.
from Girardi's point of view,
Right.
where he's like, "What the fuck do I have to
Yeah.
do?"
It's crazy. Oh, well, that's Trishster, you're going to be very happy.
What just happened? We score again?
What just happened was in-play runs. Details coming momentarily.
3-1. 3-1.
3-1. Barnes
I'm
out
so
on a
sorry,
sac
Erin, that was in
fly
your
to
ear
right
hole.
fielder. 3-1 Dodgers, top of the ninth, 2 out.
Tiny baby Jesus, if you could make this happen. And then we've got Kershaw tomorrow night, and then I'll be home for Game 6, boys. Don't worry, I'll bring the orange slices.
Halloween night, what are you going to go as? Superfan!
Superfan! I might actually paint my whole face like a baseball.
While we're talking about, so anyway, Sarah, the answer to your question is, I'm going to drop an F-bomb.
Okay.
I can't fucking believe they fired him. 2 Fs.
Classic Foley monologue.
Classic. Can I ask? Who do you think they're bringing in?
Some of the names being thrown around are not better than Joe Girardi. Tony Pena, will he be good? Nobody knows. The first base coach, I don't know. Then they said Kevin Long, the hitting coach for the Mets. Who was the hitting coach for the Yankees when we weren't fucking hitting?
Is Lasorda available?
Oh, bless sweet Tommy. I swear, y'all, let me tell you something. These Dodgers have to win because the second they win, he is going to just quit life. When they salute him at the game, by the time he's yanked his sweet self up, the inning's though. Like, he's like just crawling up to wave at the bless his
Hey,
cotton
we'll all be
socks.
there someday, God willing.
No, God willing. I mean, but he got up.
God willing, I will manage the Dodgers one day.
Oh, you'd
Is
be
that
a
what you
killer.
meant? Or just
God
old?
willing, and the creek don't rise.
Oh, I love that you said that. That's one of my favorite things to say.
Let's put a pin in baseball, and then we'll get back to it.
Okay.
Because we have Sean here, and Sean and I have bonded over, I'm just going to say it, one of the world's greatest teams, the New York Knickerbockers. And we have been, so bad.
It's been a long time.
This is what happened.
It's been a long time.
Let's see if you believe this theory.
Okay.
One of my all-time favorite players, number 20, Allen Houston.
Yes.
So great.
Right.
We give him $100 million. We never win again.
So you think he should have gotten only $99 million?
He should have gotten 40. We should have built
It was the biggest contract in the NBA at that time.
The worst. The worst.
Yeah.
It was just crazy.
And it was a reward for stuff he had already done, not really
Yeah.
looking towards the future.
Yeah. That's when I think it all went wrong. $100 million to Allen Houston.
I'll buy that. And that was a long time
Was it
ago.
98, 99?
Because they were in the finals in 99. That was
Yeah.
the strike-shortened season with Latrell Sprewell.
Sprewell.
and-
God, what
yeah.
poor Sprewell. I mean, I
Loved
just
him.
actually said
the
poor
Larry
Sprewell.
Johnson,
I know,
Sprewell,
I just-
Starks. Oh, those are like just.
Well, right. I mean, that was when I became a Knicks fan, was
Yeah.
the early 90s.
6-1 Dodgers. 6-1 Dodgers.
Oh, wow.
What happened?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm so
my
sorry.
God.
It's got to be a 3-run home.
Jock Peterson, home run.
Oh my
Bellinger
God.
scored. Forsythe scores. Baby Jock, 6-1 Dodgers.
And again, if you're getting this information from here, there are other places to get it that are more
Sean, we
convenient.
couldn't have a more amazing human sitting here right now during me.
Yay.
This was the hardest. Once we realized the time we were podcasting today, I almost had a mini seizure. I was like, can we call in sick? Can we sub out?
That's always the worst when you're like, shit, I have to do this.
Well,
you
yeah,
know?
and I love doing this.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
love
of
doing this.
course.
And I thought, oh my gosh, and can we get it, due to being at the, Joseph A. Banks, we didn't have a full TV setup in here. So I was like, how are we watching?
Baby Jock. I love when like little things happen and
Oh.
then it comes back. It was like second or third inning because Jock has been starting, not starting,
Yes.
starting, not starting. And he goes into hit in like the second or third inning. And I don't know, Joe, I can't even say his name. I can't stand him. I think it was Buck or Smoltz was like, the manager, sorry, I just had a moment. What's the manager's name? Roberts.
Dave.
Dave Roberts sticking with Jock Peterson, showing his faith in Jock Peterson. When you hear those little things, and then all of a sudden, 3-run homer.
I mean, this
So
is
it turns
clutch.
out Roberts knows what's up.
Hey,
Yes.
look, he was. Think about it. 2004 with Big Poppy, they came back and won 3 in a
I don't wanna talk
row.
That was one of the
I don't want
worst.
to talk about that.
That was
Eleanor
right when I-
Kerrigan, I don't want to talk about
That was right
Oh.
when I moved to LA, and I was living over on the Sunset Strip.
Yes.
Didn't know anybody here, didn't know anything, and I was going to the Saddle Ranch
Yeah.
every night to watch the game. And I was like breaking up with my girlfriend on the phone at the same time as I was watching.
Oh God!
You're
It
like,
was a nightmare. It was the
Fucking
worst.
Dave
But I
Roberts
love
on those
that.
base path. I wanted to kill him.
but what a great human being
No,
to
he's
be driving
great.
them home right now.
Yeah.
We hope.
Wow.
God willing. And my husband's texting me obscenities. Then we only talk in Bitmojis. My husband's taken a vow of celibacy during the playoffs, so
Have you gone along with that?
well, I've had no choice, and I
Okay.
told him we better get it together because I'm like, they're not going to put you in. You don't need to be stored up.
Which is a myth anyway. We all know that.
I've gone in the opposite direction. I am just banging my way through the playoffs. You know what I'm saying, Joseph A. Bank? Woo!
That's what's up.
That's what's up. Okay, wait, Knicks. While I have you, okay.
They're 4 games into the season. I have yet to watch a game. They won their first game last night, which they were the last team in the NBA to win a game this season.
1 and
It's
3
not
out
looking
of the
good.
gates. Porzingis dropped 30. He's to die for.
They need to just make sure that he gets to do what he wants, but he doesn't get overplayed.
Yeah.
Like that would be my biggest concern right now.
Yeah.
Is don't wear out the zinger.
I've got.
Wear out the singer. You need to make that
I'm
T-shirt.
literally writing down. Don't wear out.
But seriously,
the
because
zinger.
he's good enough that they could play him
Yeah.
48 minutes a game,
Yeah.
you know, and really
And pass the
try
ball
to
to him.
do well. But they need to just
Yeah.
let him play
Yeah.
35, 37
Yeah.
minutes a game.
Well, the good thing is that we gave Hardaway $4,800 million for him to be mediocre.
sit on the bench.
But here's a name I'm going to throw out, and it's Doug McDermott. Doug McDermott, I was a super fan of when he played at Creighton. He was that college kid that broke like every shooting record ever. He got drafted, I think, like 10th or 11th in the draft like 3 or 4 years ago, and just basically no one's given him a real shot. I forget who he was initially, maybe Chicago, or I forget who he went to year one.
was
But
it?
he's Doug McDermott.
By
Then-
the way, being the best shooter at Creighton is like being the best Cub Scout. Like it's not,
except that he broke every and like all these he broke. Doug McDermott
he went
is
to
like
the
number
Nuggets.
Denver, okay, then maybe Chicago. Now he's played and people were saying the Knicks were so bad. Why? Because he was killing it in the NBA like D League.
So you're saying just give him the rock and let
But
him
he
go
scored
crazy?
like 20 the other night. Like I'm telling you, like he's going to be, I think, fun to watch because McDermott's got like this NCAA record. It's like number 1 in scoring or number 2 in scoring or something like that. It was Creighton, but he still literally shot the lights out. And he brought Creighton to like NCAA finals a couple times. Carol, let's do a quick Carol update. Carol is in Phoenix, people. We've been getting requests. Carol's our fact checker.
Okay.
And she's a drinking problem.
She really leans towards the Boone's Farm, so she's got a certain taste, if you will.
She also takes Capri Sun and doctors it up.
Wait.
But
Sweet.
Carol and I have been together now for, not, that
Together,
way.
Not
together.
biblically.
Just business-wise for 6 or 7 years now. And I hadn't mentioned her the last couple months because she was on the road with her with her
Boone's
husband
Farm.
in Vegas. Just counting cards. She's here. She's a little late. I'm not gonna lie. She was supposed to be here when we started, but she'll be here. So thank you for asking
Thank
about
you.
Carol. Carol's doing great. She's a hot fucking mess.
She's fine. She's excited to be in Phoenix.
Can we just call an audible and just have you up here and bring Eleanor up too? Let's
Yeah,
just
of
call an
course.
audible. Eleanor Kerrigan.
Woo!
This woman.
From the line, Foley calls an audible.
She sure
I
did.
called an audible because I enjoy everyone on this dais.
You sure did drop dead.
You just halved the audience, by the way.
That's the big reveal. By the way, 1 out, bottom of the 9th. Jansen's in.
Oh, come on, Can Jam.
And Jam, that's her boy.
Let me
That's my
let me
babe.
properly introduce Eleanor Kerrigan. This woman is
Hi.
one of my favorite comics alive.
Okay.
She did a
Yes.
show. You did a Sports Without Balls show with me probably at least a year ago, and we talked
Yeah.
about Philly fandom. We talked about your days wrestling.
I used to be a wrestler.
Stop it right. No, wait.
Drop kick somebody.
Stop
Maybe
it
the
right-
Audience member, we can eliminate them all. If I
He deserves it.
drop kick.
Wait. Okay, I have so
mine.
many questions.
Oh, yeah. You want to Google it or?
That'll
Just
be next.
kidding.
Carol usually does that, but
When Trish and I were
she's
kind
right.
of prepping, we were talking about questions, which we were going to ask you guys. And we briefly during our fun luncheon today, we were talking about teams. But this goes right into what Trish and I were talking about earlier, how you follow certain teams, but you were talking today about you're following players.
I follow players.
So
Well,
talk to us about that.
I grew up in a really small South Philly row home, and I have 9 brothers and sisters, 6 boys, 3 girls. So one television. So all I know are sports.
Yeah.
My dad left, but he don't like sports anyway, so we don't need him. And
Fuck that guy.
fuck him. He likes to fish and kill. Weird. Anyway, so it's a different kind of guy. But yeah, so he left. But we had the one TV, so it's all we watched. And we're in South Philly, so most of my brothers were, run numbers, if you will.
Yes.
It's not your business, but that's what they did.
I understand.
And so we used to turn my mom's house into a sports book. We'd have like a little TV on top of the TV.
She's stacking on consoles.
They'd
Oh my
have
God,
the
that's
radio
amazing.
going, and my mother's like, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? And we're all cursing because it was never just about the Philly teams. Because when you gamble,
Yeah.
it's everything.
It's who's making you money.
So, I mean, they bet on coin toss. They bet on every single thing you can think
It's
of.
amazing.
Anything you can think of, they gambled on. And it was
Which cube of sugar is the fly
Yes.
gonna land on?
I love that.
So, and my mom is a big Flyers fan, like huge hockey. She loved the Broad Street Bullies. She actually took us to a game because we had such a terrible. I think I told the story.
But can you tell it again, because this is one of my all-time favorite sports stories.
Yeah, because
Can
she
you
was.
just do it one
she-
more time?
First of all, she's amazing. My mom. I don't know how she even talks to me, but she is awesome, and she loved the Flyers. And there was one night, it was a terrible storm in Philadelphia. Nobody could. The teams got there the day before is the only reason they were there, and the Flyers were playing, I believe, St. Louis, and I was like 5 or 6.
So she took all of you?
Well, on the radio, they said if you can get to the stadium, if you can get to the Spectrum, we'll let you in for free, and we'll give you hot dogs and hot chocolate. My
Nice.
mom was like, wrap them up. She's got 10 kids, no money. Her husband's a typewriter
Free meal.
repairman. She's
Yeah.
got problems. So
She's like, sack
she
it up.
did. She had 2 little ones. Bobby and Edie were too little to go. So I had to be 4 or 5. They'd be 5. I think 5. And so it was the end of the Broad Street Bullies kind of thing because it was 77 or 76, around that era.
How cool.
And so my mom put us on a sled. Me and Billy were the little ones, so we were on the sled, holding each other in snowdrifts, giant. You could barely get out the front door. That's how bad it was.
I
But we
love your
live-
mama.
Right? We live a mile from the stadium, and Johnny and Charlie are 9 and 10, and they're Rick McLeish, Reggie Leach. They're beating each other up over who's better. You know what I mean? I'm like, they're on the same team, guys. Relax. We're all going to work this out. And so we go. It's a mile. We lost my brother Billy for a while. I was like, Mom, he fell.
Check the drifts.
It was awful.
Hurry up. You're going to be short a hot dog. Come on.
Awful. And then we saw my dog for a minute. We were like, oh, she shouldn't be out. And I remember, because my dog was a wanderer, because there's too many people in the house and there wasn't enough food. She's like, I'm going to find something else.
There's too many TVs on in here. I gotta get out of here.
You guys are crazy. No one's even petting me. I'm leaving. So I was like, oh shit, that's Fluffy. And my mom was like, she'll be fine. Let's go. So we get there. There's about 20 people in the Spectrum, in the stands. So we were at the glass. And I remember my mom always tells the story, but I saw it a different way. She tells me that I grew up in a different area because she's like, you always tell lies. I'm like, it's not a lie. I remember Billy doing this. And what happened was Bobby Clark checked this guy against the glass. And I remember his nose went, it just splattered. They used to fight all the time. And I saw the blood and I was like, yeah. I have a hot dog and hot chocolate. Now there's blood. Yeah, Daddy, this is all me. And I was like excited. And my brother Billy was just staring at Bobby Clark, like tilted his head like, what are you doing? And Bobby Clark looked at him and smiled. That's my mom's version. I swear that Billy was looking at him like this, and then he went, ugh, and he fainted because he went down.
Oh.
I remember having to pick Billy up.
Your brother.
Yeah, he went down. He was so nauseous from what he
From the
saw.
blood.
Oh.
But my mom said that Bobby Clark was looking at this little boy like, why are you beating him up? Like an innocent little kid going.
Okay. this
So
is the
she
best
might have a
story.
better memory because I was like 5.
Yeah, but I like your
But I
version.
just remember Billy like faint. It felt like he
Yeah.
fainted. Like he went down like, whoa, because he had a weak stomach. He was a wuss.
Everybody's entitled to their own
Yeah.
perception of the world.
Right, exactly.
agree.
Both of your memories are valid.
Thank you. My
Yeah.
mom says I'm a liar.
No,
She's
embellisher is
an
what we say in
asshole.
our family.
Yeah. Also, like Trump's doing a great job. There's all
yeah.
kinds of
Alternative
different,
facts.
The LA Dodgers have beaten the Houston Astros.
It's all
in
thank God.
Game 4.
I gotta tell you about
Yeah, it is.
who hit the home run, Peterson?
Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
2-2.
2-2.
This, thank you. G. And
And
Kershaw's
he's a
tomorrow
rookie,
night.
right? He's a
No, he's not a rookie. This is his third.
Third? Okay.
year.
But
But
in
we
his
call him Young
rookie-
Jock. We call him Baby
Yes.
Jock. Yeah.
In his rookie season, he was terrible.
They just figured him out quick. So the pitcher, he got figured out real quick. We had to really bring in.
and he had a terrible regular season.
He got hurt.
Yeah.
And so it was just a lot. He really went through it. So this is a big deal because, like you just said, Roberts didn't quit him. So this was just very
That's
feel
true.
good.
That's true. And my nephew plays for the Minnesota Twins. He's in their farm system.
How cool is
Yeah,
that?
so
Oh my
he
God, that's
It's so
amazing.
exciting.
What's
Listen,
his name?
Jimmy Kerrigan. You
Oh,
can
I
look
gotta
him
write
up.
that
Okay,
down.
we
So
write that
cute.
down. No, we'll follow him.
So he's going to spring training, so I don't know where he's going to go next. But that's how they do it. And-
Yes.
But right now he's been killing it.
That's
and
so
I'm so
awesome.
happy. But he was shitting on Peterson because he's like he's had a terrible year, and he's not doing anything. I could do better than that. You know how
course,
we're all
competitive.
competitive and we hate
Yeah.
each other. And so he's like, I could do better than that. And as he was arguing, I was on the phone with my mom. He hit a home run, and it was the game 1.
Yeah,
he hit a blast.
this isn't Jock's first. Jock hit a home
No,
run
he's
already.
killing.
Right? Yeah.
He's
just-
killing in the postseason. Is
Yes,
what he's doing.
yeah,
Yeah,
Robert's showing his faith in him.
yeah.
Sean, that's exactly what's happening.
I can't wait to see my
Can I
nephew
ask
do
some big
that.
questions for you guys? But I just said to Erin because my uncle was an assistant in the NBA my entire life, so I got to be around sports more than probably a normal person, and I got to go to a couple NBA finals.
Oh wow.
Young and appreciative, don't get me wrong, but not to the level that this is hitting me now because I grew up in Kentucky with no professional sports teams.
Yeah.
So all my
It's
teams are
also long
different.
gone.
I love you. So I am obviously a huge Dodger fan, and I'm a Patriots fan. That's my
Okay,
team.
that's
Oh, cut the
disgusting. I
mic,
guess I'll
cut
see you
the
guys.
mic.
I'll see
I
you
know,
guys.
I'm sorry.
Fuck
But look,
Belichick.
sorry.
let me say why.
Belichick.
My dad was
Fuck
a
the
Jets fan.
Patriots.
My dad was a Jets fan.
Which
And
is also disgusting.
he hated the Patriots. And so I felt bad for them when I was little because they seemed all-American. To me, it was like
they're
Patriots.
Patriots.
Right. So as a small
Yeah,
child,
right.
they're red, white, and blue, Patriots.
That's what my mom used to call them. The guys with the cute hats.
Right.
What?
What?
Oh.
So that's why I
April
chose
morning, shot heard around the world.
Hey.
So my question to both of you is, what would be
No, we're
your
bringing up the Dodgers.
bucket list sports moment?
Bucket list sports
To go
moment?
to, like
oh,
your
to go
bucket
to.
list.
Like
If you could go,
but
to
it would have to be
any-
probably back in. You mean back in time?
No,
yeah.
no.
Oh,
Like
right.
if you could go to anything, do you want to do one
You
from
could
the
do
past?
that. You
I
could
gotta
do
be honest.
back
I
in
hate
time.
people.
Okay,
But
that's
so I'm
fair.
afraid
Just
to
tell
go
us
to
like it
games.
is.
Yeah, right. I'm afraid to go to games, but I will say this: that I was a football player. I was a quarterback when I was young, and I played padded football because I didn't know I was a girl until like a week ago. So I didn't. It was my brother's fault, and I played, and I had
I didn't
a
know you were a
cannon.
girl till last night.
Right?
We never met before.
And I was like, look at this. And you're like, that's iffy.
Okay, too much. Too much.
Hey, Caitlin, put your pants back on. So I had a cannon, right? And so I kind of got out of it. You know, you get into start liking boys because I'm not smart. And then I start, dating. So you kind of wean off it. But I was a very athletic kid. And I always wanted to have a a son, and have a quarterback, so he wouldn't have to be hassled because girls weren't. We're not letting a girl play in high school. We're gonna hurt her. So I had to kind of you deal with all that. But
Yeah.
I did have one good friend that stayed, and she killed it. She played all the way up till college, so she
Oh,
was
wow.
awesome. Yeah,
That's awesome.
And but I didn't. I pussied out. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go see if I can get felt up. And so
It's not pussying out. That's
Hashtag
being practical.
priority.
Yeah, that
kind of
is
being a
priority.
whore.
Yeah.
Kind of being a whore. And
Yeah.
so, which is fine. And then, so I stopped doing it. And I wanted to have a kid. And my first ex-fiance, I have a few of them.
I love this.
His uncle played for the Brooklyn Dodgers, shot heard around the world, Bobby Thompson.
Another shot heard
right?
around the world.
So many shots.
The
heard around the
actual
world.
shot heard around the world. And was Ralph Branca, the pitcher for
What?
the Brooklyn Dodgers.
What?
So I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have my fucking kid with the cannon arm.
Yeah.
Like
This is dream
guaranteed.
sequence for
That's-
sure. Yeah.
So that would have been my ultimate sports moment.
That's the
To
bucket list.
Watch the kid that I'm sorry, I had to let him go. I'm just kidding. I never did it. Me and my ex broke up. I never had kids, whatever. But now I have my nephew. I live vicariously. So I guess the ultimate sports thing would be watching my nephew play in a World Series.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
On any
Or
team.
just
On
also
any
just play
team.
I mean, I
his
don't know.
first pro game if he makes it to the,
Oh,
you know what I mean? That would
yeah.
be.
Oh,
I
we'll
love
all be
those-
cheering him on.
Major league.
Yeah.
He's already playing pro.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
already in
Yeah,
the farm
yeah.
system,
Yeah.
so it's like it's only he just has to kill it at spring training, and then they move you around. That's just
Yeah,
how
they
it goes.
I
So-
love no matter what team, if it's not your team or not. When
mean-
when it's someone's first game and the parents are
Oh.
in, I was supposed to say audience, in the crowd, and it's just
The audience.
like in the audience.
In the audience, just doing crowd work.
Like it's just so magical.
I just
the
had
big
this-
call up.
We were
to
there
the-
for Farmers.
Oh.
When
Yeah.
Farmer did the big walk off. It was just like it was such
Okay,
a.
what happened to him?
He's out there. He's not
Okay.
He's not on the.
Yeah, I feel like he had such a great start, and then
They'll keep him. They'll get rid
Yeah.
of Randall. Keep him and Barnes. Sorry, we're back.
No, I love it. I'm just thinking of my insane South Philly family watching this
When he makes
in the
it-
stands where
Oh,
people are
yeah.
like, are they allowed in? All of them?
I think
when
I
there's
just saw their
your
dog.
own section. Yeah, Fluffy's
Fluffy
here.
will come back.
Yeah.
She will come
your
back.
mom has to bring a sled. It's got to be full circle.
Oh yeah.
Kerrigan style. It's got to be.
She would be. She loves baseball too.
Yeah.
Like she's a big hockey baseball. Those are her. She's like, I watch football, but I don't really understand it too much. So she gets lost a little bit, and the boys are gambling, so it bothers her.
That's why I always think when people, I mean, I've said this so many times because I'm so obsessed with sports, but it just brings so much joy.
Absolutely.
So much pain, so much joy, but the ultimate escape. Like sometimes when I get, you have to have 80 jobs in this career, and then all of a sudden dreams come true and you perform in a men's warehouse. And but when I think about like stats and when I think about games and who's pitching, or I went deep on I was watching the Penn State Ohio State game today.
That was a great
Oh,
game.
Screaming
gosh.
in anger, but good for Ohio State. I mean, they came back, they pulled it off.
I
But
cannot
I don't
believe
think
that.
about anything else. I don't think about anything else. Like everything ceases to exist. Like your mom's. I'm just thinking like
best.
9
It was an
kids,
escape for us.
A
Yeah,
single
10 kids,
mom,
yes.
10 kids. And I said
I
9
hate-
because one of them was in the snowdrift temporarily.
Okay.
But,
Billy,
what-
we got him back.
stress
We got
relief,
Billy.
though.
We
Yeah.
almost
You
lost
got
Billy a
back?
few
All
times.
right, yeah.
I'm
few
fine
times.
with people who don't watch sports, but I hate it when people are like, I don't get it.
I get.
I
yeah.
don't get it.
Yeah.
Isn't that the
Yeah.
weird?
Fuck you.
It's like I don't really trust people that have never drank. Like I'm fine if you
Ooh.
don't. I'm fine if you don't. Right? If you've made a choice now to drink, no problem. But when people say, "Oh no, I've never drank," I'm like, "You're shifty.
You might be the president of the United States someday.
Don't trust him. Don't
Yeah.
trust
Don't ever
him.
Yeah,
trust
I don't
it.
get it.
I don't trust
just
it.
go,
Same with
I
don't
don't
like
get
it.
you.
Don't
And
like
then
sports.
I run away.
Never tried drinking. Something's off with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, that's.
You gotta have a little something. What's
That's
your
a communist. am I right, front row? Oh, you guys.
Boy, they agree with us, huh?
Killing
But do
it.
you guys follow players? Is that a weird thing to do?
Well, yeah.
or
So
is
let's
that,
get back
yeah.
to that. And then, Sean, I want to ask you your bucket list.
Okay.
The players, what we were talking about today is you know, just from Philly, you think everything would be Philly. Like
And
for
it
me,
is to an
everything's
extent.
New York. But then, LA, I adopt Dodgers, Clippers, not first and foremost. But you're saying it was Celtics because you followed Bird.
Oh, Larry Bird and
Yeah.
Magic Johnson. And me and my brother Johnny used to fight terribly over it because he loved Magic and I just loved Bird. I also love to oppose my brother Johnny because
Yeah.
he's a bandwagon. Okay, you
Yeah.
should be outed and
I-
hit hard.
You
Come
just
on,
did it.
Johnny.
You just did it.
It's
Johnny
just
just got it.
sickening. It's sickening.
It's not a good.
Let's
look.
get him on the
He's-
phone right now.
He's a
Hold
big
on.
Yankees fan. Call him up. He'll answer.
Get
And,
off the bandwagon. Get back on the sled.
He wasn't even on the sled then.
Oh, I get them all mixed up at this point.
So do I. And he was a big Yankees fan, and that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna find out who the rival is, and it became the Red Sox.
And that's how you start-
Unfortunately, it was
Wow.
1986.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is great.
It's
This
actually
team's
the
great.
perfect
It was
year
the
to
Bill Buckner
start.
year.
Oh,
yeah.
I was in
So-
Massachusetts at that time.
Oh, mother
Oh,
of
yeah.
God,
I was
right?
in
and
Rhode
then
Island.
it's the
Everyone was
Mets.
cheering
So,
for Boston.
right? And then that I was like, this team's like me. They get right there, and then everything falls to shit. So I stayed a Red Sox fan. I still love the Phillies. My mom was a beer girl at Vet Stadium for years.
That's
For the
awesome.
Eagles and the Phillies. Like
I want to fly your mom in right now.
I
she
so bad.
will tell you story. Like she's the
Yeah,
greatest.
I want my mom
She's so
to meet.
cute.
I want Mary
Yes.
Agnes Kathleen Foley to meet
Oh, what a great name.
Mrs. Kerrigan.
Edith Veronica Kerrigan.
Edith Veronica Kerrigan. What? They need their own sports show.
Right?
Oh my God.
Full
yeah.
named.
Yeah.
Full name.
Sean, what's your?
Can I say a couple?
Yeah.
You can do. You can say whatever you
Okay.
want. Past, present, whatever.
First and foremost, I would say probably the Super Bowl. I'd love to go to, if the Giants are in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I would
Oh,
love
wow.
to go to a Giants Super
it's going to
Bowl.
happen as soon as we get the entire team back.
just because
Injury.
This is
that
gonna be
to
a while.
me is
It's
like
gonna be
the
a minute.
biggest single event in sports.
Yeah.
And then another one is because the first sport, I don't really follow it much anymore, and I'm sorry to say this because we just watched you guys watch this baseball game.
In real time with live updates.
I don't really follow baseball that much anymore, but when I was like 4 years old is when I started going to Yankee Stadium with my grandfather. So that was my first love of sports
so
was the Yankees. He was like a semi-pro player and like, so I loved the Yankees when I was a kid, and then I was like, oh, this is a boring sport. But so that would be my second thing.
Like a World Series game.
No,
Oh,
sorry.
Yankees.
An all-star game because it's right.
yeah.
My birthday is the 13th of July, and
Oh,
every
it's
few
the sweet
years
spot
the
of the
all-star
All-Star
game is on my birthday. So I would love to go
To an
That's
all-star
awesome.
game.
all-star game on my birthday.
Now,
That would
does it
be-
have to be at Yankee Stadium? I'm
No,
just gonna-
it could be
okay.
anywhere.
That's good
In fact,
to
I
know.
almost would prefer it to be elsewhere, just because I've only been to Yankee Stadium and Dodger Stadium. I haven't been to any other ballparks,
Which-
so it'd be cool to see
Aaron,
some other places.
Aaron and I have talked about doing the Stadium World Tour where we go and just because we get goobery.
It'd be so
I
cool.
I've got about half. I think I've got about half right now.
If I won the lottery, I would literally get an RV. Not even
Oh, for sure.
Not
That's
even a G6,
hysterical.
an RV. I'm aware that I could fly or helicopter to these venues. I would want to go and just take an RV or just a badass tour bus like I'm Faith
Yeah.
Hill and roll up in the parking
Right.
lot and just do it right and go
Be
to
so
every
fun.
venue.
Yeah.
I've started thinking about how I would answer that question. I thought I knew, but now it's sort of like I've gone to so many. I did one Yankees. I did Game 7 Aaron Boone, which was crazy because I could never afford a playoff game. I could barely afford regular season, but back then you could still get like a $13, $14 bleacher seat. And then you knew so many people, and I went to college with like really successful white people, and they didn't go to the arts.
Congratulations.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Big
they
deal.
paid my way. I was the one that went into the arts and get paid in balloon animals. And so they would take me
Welcome to
a-
the club, my friend.
Thank you. It's good to be amongst friends.
Aren't they cute though?
They're so
Anyway.
good until they pop.
Starving.
So I did go see that. That was like tremendous. I think Super Bowl for sure. But I've gotten a really, and then I always think March Madness. But March Madness to me
Ooh.
feels accessible. It doesn't feel bucket list because I'm gonna get there.
Eventually,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like, it's just, you know what I mean? It's like taking the
Yes.
time, and it just always feels accessible to me. What doesn't feel accessible, which I think would be now on the height of my bucket list, would be women's World Cup soccer. I did get to see one. I got the semifinals in the last World Cup. I saw USA play Germany in Montreal, and it was like mind blowing. And we were talking about the tennis.
Today, I said to her, I go, because this is, to me, having my team in the World Series, I went to game 1 and I teared up. And I had that.
Was this the first World Series game you had been to?
I've never been to a World Series, and I just had that moment of, and even before it was my uncle's teams, it wasn't like I had an affinity. I loved, obviously he was working, and we loved whatever team he played for, but it wasn't like my team.
Right.
That's when this happened, and I've been a season ticket holder with the Dodgers for 7 years, almost 7 years. So we've gone through some jinky times, and I was like, wow. And I stood there, and I just got so emotional. And we said today, I go, I don't know, this was such a huge moment. What would it be? And I said, between the final, and I'm a Kentucky fan, clearly, going to an NCAA final, or I would want to go to all 4 of the women's majors and Grand Slams, the Grand Slams in tennis, because I played tennis.
Like a
here at
finals
Arizona State.
weekend in Wimbledon where you see the women on a Saturday and a men on Sunday. I think that would be
that's
it.
great.
And I think, because I've been to U.S. Open matches, Australian Open, it would just be like, if I was there, it would be amazing. The French Open, I'm not the biggest clay fan, but growing up, getting up so early with my family to watch Wimbledon finals. Although now that I'm staring right at Graham Elwood, a couple weeks ago.
I'm sorry about that.
We did one of my favorite episodes, our WNBA.
That was so fun.
Going to that game where they could have won, the Sparks could have won the whole thing. That would have been my first championship game. Of course, they blew it.
But it was a great game. And playoff. There's something so amazing to be in that atmosphere, and that was the last.
I also think you can't put win or lose on the bucket list.
No,
it's just being at the
game.
Just at
right?
the game.
Just being there.
I mean, that's when my husband said, he goes, "I'm going to sell the tickets. Which ones are we keeping?" Right, and because clearly it's not like we are making $1 gazillion off the tickets. And I said, "We're going to game 1." And he goes, "Well, what's our make me not go price?" And I said, "Well, what are we worth liquid? Because I will divorce your ass." I was like, We're not going to game 1. What are you, huh?" And so he was like, "All right, solid, okay."
Was it before or after that he took the vow of celibacy?
He had already.
I feel like it was right after.
He had took it before, but didn't really let me know. And I just thought we were having a dry spell. Turns out he thought he was going to get called up from the bullpen. Anyway.
Yeah, he's saving his legs for no reason.
For no reason.
Just let him go.
It's just, come on.
I have another bucket list, and maybe you can help me out with. It's not mine, really. It's my mom. She wants the Kentucky Derby. She wants to go to the Kentucky
She would love it.
Listen, every year. She's another
That's on
one.
my
She
bucket
gambles
list
on
as
that.
well.
I'd love to go.
Want to go? I'll get her a hat. We'll have a blast.
It is. So the Kentucky Derby, there's 2 ways to see it. It's
I
the
have no
infield or the
idea
outfield. So the infield are a little rough and tumble, a little more redneck.
She's 79.
She'd love it either way.
You drink your beers right out of the box?
Exactly right. And you could probably get
No
mud
cups.
on you because they're like the horses run by you all day. So the mud kicks up.
That would be it.
Yeah, you're right there. Where at the stands, in the grandstands, you're a little more removed, right? Like, it's great, but you are set back. So it is much more proper, but it is fantastic. And it is a hard ticket now. It is really, like, they charge literally $900 a night for a Motel 6 room. I swear to God.
That's what we were saying. We'd have to stay like.
You have to stay in
an hour
Lexington.
away.
Yeah.
Motel 7 is $1,100.
Philly.
$1,100 for a Motel 7.
I got another nephew in Ohio, so we can stay at his place. He's
That's
closer
perfect.
to Kentucky.
You should I tell people just hire car service and drive out. Like, it's cheaper to hire a car service to take you in and out than stay in Louisville.
I was telling Trish last night, I actually am a Kentucky Colonel.
You have to tell me how you acquired it.
So
this is a very big, prestigious honor.
I want to go and like dress up and like
in a seersucker suit. Oh, you'd pull that off,
like
Sean.
somehow.
Wait, back it up. What do you mean by?
Okay,
it's an official thing.
It's a very big deal in the state of Kentucky to be a colonel. You have to be asked. Like, it is, nominated by somebody else, and then you receive a Kentucky Colonel credential, which I do not have as a Kentuckian.
But what is a Kentucky Colonel?
Basically, it's a completely fake title that makes you like the Colonel.
Makes me like the what do you mean?
Colonel
Sanders.
That's me, the Colonel.
The Colonel.
Sanders.
Here, I'll pull it up for you.
Okay, I'm still not.
It's like a
getting
charitable
that
I'm with
visual.
you.
organization.
Are we
basically.
making
Charitable
popcorn?
organization.
I don't know what's
Okay.
happening.
Okay, I didn't know if it
It
was.
is.
But it's existed
Colonel or
for a
bucket.
long time.
Oh,
Is the highest title of honor bestowed by the Commonwealth, that's us. Commissions for Kentucky colonels are given by the governor and the Secretary of State to individuals in recognition of noteworthy accomplishments and outstanding service to a community, state, or the nation.
What did you do,
I am
Sean
sucking at
Conroy?
life.
Why? Please tell us this.
I don't want to get into my history with
Noteworthy.
Kentucky.
Please
Yeah, well,
This is noteworthy.
please, I'm,
But
I'm,
let's just
I'm
say it would
dying
not have
to
statehood
know.
anymore if it wasn't for me. No,
Wow.
I mean, it has nothing to do with me, obviously. When I was born, my grandfather at that time, who was a politician, was the lieutenant governor of New York State.
Stop that.
And he was, when I was born, at a lieutenant governor's conference in San Francisco. And the chairman of the conference was the lieutenant governor of Kentucky. And so he announced to this whole conference that this guy had just had his first grandson born and that he was officially being made a Kentucky colonel. So I have a certificate on my wall at home that says that I am a Kentucky colonel.
Stop
That's
everything.
awesome.
They made you a colonel at birth.
Yes.
At birth.
I'm going to have to go. I don't even know what to do with myself.
amazing.
You were born as royalty, Sean.
Yes, correct. In one
Now,
state.
royalty, asterisk. Scroll down Kentucky.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like.
Aaron Foley, I'll
Listen,
forgive you for that.
the Dodgers,
Kind on
it's
Aaron's
2-2.
But look, even the colonels left Kentucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, and now they've just defiled him on the chicken bucket, and every comic is dressed up like the colonel.
God, how many
gotta
comics
figure it
can
out.
play the fucking colonel on those
Honestly.
commercials?
I love it
It's
when
getting
George.
silly.
But I like it when it's George Hamilton and he's the deep fried colonel. That is fun.
Yeah.
When he's extra crispy, fun.
All right.
I want to play the colonel.
So anyway, I want to go to the Kentucky Derby.
Oh,
Yes.
that's
I
no, it
wanna
is,
go.
and I'll tell you, it's a. I have not been back in.
Have you
since my
gone?
20s? Yes.
Oh, okay.
So when I was younger, my grandfather, we went all the time. But I'll tell you one of the great ones if you want to get like just the vibe is opening weekend in Keeneland. So at Lexington, if you ever play that club, which is an amazing club, comedy off Broadway, there is where all the horses kind of train and learn. It's an area called Keeneland. And opening weekend, which is right about now in Keeneland, is one of the most amazing horse experiences. I highly recommend you do that. It's painfully affordable, and go do it. That's just as cool, but only really people in the South know to go do Keeneland.
Got it.
And you can bring your own cooler, honey.
Oh, bring your own cooler, BYOC.
If you don't want to drink out of the box.
exactly right.
All right. While we have you here, and we're gonna do feel good moment of the week. Let's do wild predictions. Let's start. We'll end with baseball, but let's start with this. Now, right now, do you watch we were talking about the Knicks earlier.
That's
The NBA.
inappropriate.
The NBA just started, and I wanted to get some quick thoughts on, do we just fast forward to Golden State Cleveland? Here's what I want to do. Because obviously there's a total realignment of forces on the west side. On the Eastern Conference, now that Hayward just went out with the
that was
leg
awful.
injury, which was so
Jesus.
brutal, I think they should do it how they do the WNBA now, where they just take the top 10, 12 teams
Out of
from
everybody.
both conference, put them 1 to 10, put them 1 to 12,
Seed everybody.
and then seed everybody, and there's your playoffs, because
There's such a disparity.
I totally agree.
And that
Yeah.
will make up, because there was an Eastern disparity for so long.
Sure.
Now there's a Western disparity, and it feels like that should be especially now, so we
Yeah.
don't snooze fest this season back into Golden State, Cleveland.
I agree.
I kind of agree.
Which is
agree with
what's
you
gonna
on that.
happen.
yes.
It's just,
It's already-
I mean,
You think it's gonna happen? For
the
sure?
Clippers are 4-0, and they literally like. I
If
had
they
to look
keep
up the
playing like
Clippers
this, they will
roster.
be 82-0 at the end of the season.
It's just that
Statistical sample. I know it's small, but
like
No, it's-
everyone's
Clippers
like
are hot. I
Houston,
like that you like
OKC,
the
but-
Clippers over the Lakers.
Oh, I hate,
Oh,
the,
hate the
Lakers.
Lakers.
I hate the
Girls.
Lakers with every.
I
Good.
prefer their
My
cheerleaders too. The
As a-
Clipper spirit. They're fun. They're
Clippers
all
are
the
just
all
fun.
As
the
a
They're
girls
like
Celtics fan, I
stepchild.
like this.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like this.
because of Doc.
No, Celtics, Larry Bird. What do you mean? Oh, right now.
Yes.
Well, I grew
yeah,
up
but I
Celtics
just
as
hate
well.
the Lakers.
Well, yeah,
It's always
okay,
been
but
hate
that's
the
just
Lakers.
you keep that.
Doc
in your
Rivers
bones.
in
Yes.
the why I like the Clippers. The reason I kind of root for the Clippers is a kid that I grew up with, who played Pooh Richardson. He was in the he lived in our neighborhood in the Passion
Syracuse.
Projects. He went he played for UCLA.
Oh, okay.
He was a real like inner city project kid, and we had a playground that separated our neighborhoods. Like the projects were on one side, we were on the other side, and they would come and we would always play basketball. You know, everybody plays basketball. That's how they keep the peace, sports, whatever. So he was amazing as a kid. He was my brother Johnny's age. Fucking
Johnny. Full
Stay off the
throttle.
sled, Johnny. You don't get on the sled.
Too big. You're too big. Anyway, so he, but him and Johnny played football and basketball. And we used to sit and watch him like, whoa, this kid's amazing. And then he played for the Clippers. This was a long time ago, but he got hurt. And now he's in the corporate. So I kind of like him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Clippers are-
awesome.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you guys know Alonzo Bowden. He did
course.
an episode. He is like die hard
Die-hard.
Clippers, and he's got like the best joke because, you know, he's like a real like masculine, muscular black dude.
Giant
And
black
they
man.
he always tries to convince people that he did play for the Clippers because people don't know
And
a
they
lot
would
of the
believe
old
it.
rosters.
Yeah.
And he did play ball at one point in time. It's like my favorite thing about him. Well, there's so many favorite things. Here's one quick. All right, let's do World Series predictions and then a Phoenix shout out, a couple feel good moments of the week.
Love
What do you think? We're heading into Game 5, 2-2. Who's gonna win?
I say Dodgers in 7.
Dodgers in 7. I say Dodgers in 6.
I say Dodgers in 6.
We're sticking with Dodgers in 6.
Dodgers in
I'm
6.
going Dodgers with 7.
Aaron,
I want 7
are
games.
you changing yours? What was yours last week?
I
Oh,
keep refusing to pick.
Thank
because-
you.
right.
And,
That's right.
and
I
he's
will
still not
jinx
allowed to,
someone.
and I appreciate you for that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I think
guess
it
I
will
don't
go
like
6.
I don't trust people who don't pick.
Okay.
No, he's doing that.
Aaron's doing that out of everyone he picked the other.
It falls to shit. I said
Loses.
cussed. Yes, sorry, yes.
Are you Eddie Mush? What's happening over there? Are you a terrible gambler?
No. My team didn't make it this year, and then I picked the Diamondbacks to go all the way, and they didn't make it out of the first round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it.
Here's
I'm picking the Diamondbacks in 7.
Okay, Diamondbacks in 7. You heard it here first. One quick, this is why I love doing this podcast. When I travel for stand-up, as we both do, I go see a game anywhere I can, and I also like to talk to all like locals because they're when I get like a cab driver, anyone where I could talk about their interpretation or whatever their fandom for their city and their team. So I was talking to this guy. He brought us from the airport to the hotel. We were talking about. I said the Phoenix Suns. He's like, there's the stadium. I said, oh, the Phoenix Suns. Do they still have a team? You know, joking around because they're terrible. I said, well, I'm a Knicks fan, and I go, one of these days Knicks are going to play the Suns. And he goes, don't hold your breath. And he goes, the Phoenix Suns. He's like, the Phoenix Suns. They're searching right now. They're searching for their identity, much like the city of Phoenix. And I was like, okay, all right,
deep. He got real deep.
Solid commentary about the city of Phoenix and the Phoenix Suns.
Was that a Lyft or an Uber drive? No, that was proper car service.
That was
so he
Jen
can be.
Kirkman's car service that we got into the back of.
There you
I said,
go.
we're rolling with Kirkman. She's at the Palomar. The rest of us are
All at the
taking a
Motel
pony
6.
back to Motel 6. All right, we're gonna do feel good moment of the week. And then we shout out to Stacy at Bedford Winery.
Oh.
We're gonna email her personally back, but she gave us this great email, and we'll send you back our personal emails because it went through All Things Comedy admin. Al Madrigal actually forwarded it to me. But she wants to send us.
I like that Al is checking all the emails
Yeah.
himself.
We're-
the best.
it's a full
He's the most
service.
Al's
efficient.
like, I can't-
Like he's who I would trust.
Yeah, of
so
course.
I
that's
would trust
amazing.
him as well.
You want me to
and-
read it?
I don't want to read it just in case there's information that
You got it.
But
she was super sweet, and we appreciate her. And
she wants to send us some wine.
Dodger wine.
Dodger
so,
wine.
The owner of the winery that she works for is a massive Dodger fan, and I've actually bought this wine. It's wonderful, by the way. I bought the Pinot Noir. I'm gonna mess up how you say it, but it's Qupe, so Cupe maybe. But he private labels for Dodger Stadium, so they actually have the Dodger logo. All of it's very cute. And she said we'd love to, send you some.
Great.
So it was really sweet. So we thank you so much, Stacy, and we will take you up on that, girl.
Yeah, we'll take you up on it. Also, it's full circle because we were doing the Dodger game while you were emailing us about wine. So it's
Yes.
full circle.
Full circle.
Feel good moment of the week. We like to do. I always end it with a feel good moment of the week because North Korea has a missile and everything's on fire. Wow, this crowd is pouring in towards the end.
Crazy, right?
but we have two, and they kind of coordinate. They kind of coordinate around the Houston Dodgers series. And the first one was sent to us by Melissa Fenton. So thank you, Melissa, for sending the story. Do you want to take it away? Do you want to lead us through this?
Yes. Well, wait, I don't have that one pulled up. I have the other homeboy.
Okay, well, I'll do that
You'll
one.
lead it.
In a nutshell, I think I posted the story. If not, I will post the story. But it's just the sweetest story of a family that lost. They have two boys. They lost one of their sons to like a freak ATV accident in their backyard.
Yes.
They live in Houston. And they're months in mourning, and the father was like, you know what, I'm just going to buy some tickets for the Game 6 and Game 7 against the Yankees, and they had and they didn't want to go because they were missing their son. And anyway, it's a long story, but the first game they're sitting behind the third base coach. And the third base coach is wearing number 53, and that was their son's baseball number. And so it was all these like 53, like there was another player had a jersey on with 50. They were saying like how they really felt his presence. Then Game 7, they're sitting in the front row, right field, and that was a home run by Carlos Correa, and the little kid caught it. It was the one when Aaron Judge goes back for it, goes over the glove, hits his glove, and the mother was like, the foul ball hit him, the dad, and the mother, and it felt like it was like his spirit, and it brought him so much joy. And then all the Astros reached out to the little kid and wanted to give him tickets, and Correa gave him his bat, and it was just, your
I still
son
wish
dies.
the Yankees would have won.
Okay, spoken like a true New Yorker. I'm a true New Yorker. I totally wish the Yankees had won, but I'm so
Stop trying to make us like the Astros. What's happening right now?
I know. It was so feel good. It's just
aren't they good people?
Power,
Yeah.
Well, it was just so
sports.
sweet. And then this morning I'm watching CNN, and this sweet little 94-year-old man who has been a diehard Astros fan his entire existence on this earth. Sweet, since they existed on this earth. Let me back that up. And he really wanted to go and couldn't get tickets, couldn't afford tickets, and the story, his granddaughter put the story on Facebook and had him do a little video. And a fan in Pennsylvania who had tickets just sent the 94-year-old man his tickets. And I was like,
see how Pennsylvania can be nice sometimes.
Once in a while.
Once in a while, the state of Pennsylvania.
I mean, not when you get over to the Philadelphia area.
City
Mind
of
your
brotherly
business
love.
over there.
I tell you,
probably just somewhere out in the burbs.
I'm gonna put on some aging makeup and make my own video and get one of these Dodger tickets for Game 6. I do have a bad back for playing Division III basketball. Lesbian. All right, you guys, full circle. I love each of you. Do we forget anything?
No.
Nope. We have a lot of thank yous. First of all, Sean Conroy, you're a dream. Where can people find you?
At Sean Conroy on Twitter.
At Sean
That's the easiest.
And you're about to start traveling so people
am.
can see you.
I'm going on the road for a couple months.
All right, follow Sean Conroy at Sean Conroy. Fantastic stand-up comic, and you're going to be teaching, and you're going to be just full on cheering for the Knicks.
Yes. Come on, Zinger.
Come on, Zinger. Eleanor Kerrigan.
Yes,
Where
that's
can people
me.
find you and hunt you down safely?
Well,
Safely.
I prefer not safely. It's just EJ Kerrigan on Twitter and Facebook. I'm not joining Snapchat. I can't.
Are you on
I don't do
Instagram?
any of that.
Instagram, I have that.
Okay.
But I'm not
And
putting
it's the
any.
same username on everything.
We'll
those
post all
masks.
your stuff.
What is it called? Like when you
Filters.
Yeah, that's not
I love
happening
a
for
filter.
me.
I'll get you tonight.
Trish's
Girl,
obsessed
don't be
with
weird.
filters.
I don't need any ears. It's uncomfortable.
As always, ErinKFoley.com, TrishSir.com. You know all our information will reposted. We just want to say a huge thank you to All Things Comedy. This festival has been
Yes.
fantastic. Stand Up Live, Tempe Improv, Chico Malo,
Bud Light, Tito's Handmade Vodka. And, of course, you will go to allthingscomedy.com so you can subscribe to any and all of our podcasts. And, of course, YouTube to see live streaming. If you watch us on that, you can subscribe at YouTube to be able to watch all of us.
And a huge thank you to
Erin
Erin
in the booth.
And
Diamondback.
Carol just walked through the door as we're wrapping.
With all that
She's
Tito's.
here.
Oh my
All
God.
right.
She's got part of the artificial turf of the Arizona Cardinals stadium in her hair. Trick question. It's natural grass. Sports without balls. Fans, friends, family have the best week of your life.
Thanks,